Give it up for the York U Gospel Choir. We're coming to you live from our virtual studio in Toronto, Ontario. Tonight, York University welcomes you to our premier award show, recognizing the outstanding accomplishments of over 350,000 York alumni around the world. Welcome to the 2021 York U Alumni Awards. We're celebrating the achievements, contributions, and the positive change 4 alumni have made to the York U community and beyond. Join us as we celebrate Weyni Mengesha, Dr. Pamela Ohashi, Christopher House, Dr. Earle Nestmann, with performances by York alumna and graduate student Sarah Slean, York University's student show choir Vanier College Productions, and special appearance by York alumna and Toronto comedian Hoodo Hersi. On with the show. Here are our hosts, author, chef, and television personality Shahir Massoud, and recent graduate and 2020 recipient of both the Robert J. Tiffin Student Leadership Award and Robert Everett Exceptional Leadership in Student Governance Award, Bo Joseph.
Wow, you did all that, Bo?
Yes.
Amazing. Guys, thank you to the members of the York U Gospel Choir for that amazing performance. Got us moving to start things off. And welcome, everyone. I'm your co-host, Shahir Massoud, a proud 2006 York alumnus.
And I'm your co-host, Bo Joseph. I graduated from Glendon a few months ago, and it's an honor to be here with you tonight.
Now, we get it, Bo. You're young. That's fantastic. Welcome to the York U Alumni Awards, a celebration of the outstanding accomplishments of 4 Alumni Award recipients, as well as all York students and alumni working to make positive change throughout the York community and beyond. It's now my pleasure to introduce York's President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rhonda Lenton.
Hello, everyone. Bonjour, bonjour. Thank you for joining us today for the 2021 York U Alumni Awards. I would like to start today by giving the land acknowledgement. As this event is virtual and we are not all gathered in the same space, I recognize that this land acknowledgement might not be on the territory that you are currently on. I ask that if this is the case, you take the responsibility to acknowledge the traditional territory that you are on and the current treaty holders. As a member of the York University community, I recognize that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of the university. York University acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Tikaronto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabeg Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat. It is now home to many First Nation, Inuit, and Métis communities. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region. I'm absolutely delighted to be here with all of you this evening and to have so many students, staff, faculty, course directors, and of course, alumni and friends joining us to celebrate this year's 4th Alumni Award honorees, 4 Alumni Award honorees. Over the 21 years since they were established, the York U Alumni Awards have recognized 90 alumni honorees and created countless valuable opportunities for the leaders of tomorrow to build meaningful connections with the leaders of today. In fact, when we initiated our newest cohort of graduates into York's expansive global alumni network earlier this month at our fall 2021 convocation ceremony, I reminded them that they are joining a community now of more than 350,000 alumni innovators, creative leaders, academics, and entrepreneurs who are dedicated to addressing the complex challenges facing the local and the global communities that we serve. Examples of how York alumni are driving positive change all around us, from knowledge mobilization that improves health and healthcare outcomes of global populations, to programs that advance equity, diversity, and inclusion, to the discovery, application, and translation of research, scholarship, and innovation that make profound contributions to driving positive change locally and around the world, are too numerous to mention. Tonight, we had the opportunity to celebrate just a few of these achievements. The 4 individuals that we are honoring at this evening's event are Weyni Mengesha, Dr. Pamela Ohashi, Christopher House, and Dr. Earle Nestmann. They have inspired and led in their fields, and while doing so, they have made it a priority to remain engaged and connected to York, and for that, we are very grateful. They are some of our greatest ambassadors. I know you are all looking forward to learning more about our award recipients, and we will have an opportunity to hear from each of them throughout tonight's event, along with some fantastic performances, videos, and interviews. We have a great show planned for you this evening, and so without further ado, I will pass it back to our hosts, Shahir and Bo, to kick things off.
Thank you, Dr. Lenton. You're absolutely right. We have an exciting evening planned for all of you. But before we get started, let me point out a few helpful services if you need it. Now, this event has closed captioning in English and French available. To access this, click on the CC button on the bottom left, just below the main stage window. We also have a French interpretation available. We're having a few technical difficulties. It happens, Bo. We're live. Stay with us. I'll have updates once we get that fixed. And if you need any other support during the event, please feel free to visit the concierge in the lobby.
I would like to extend a special welcome to representatives from York's affinity partners, whose generous support has helped to make tonight an evening to remember. Tonight's premier sponsor is TD Insurance, and we welcome Anna Cavanaugh, Vice President, Affinity Group at TD Insurance, who is here with us tonight. We'd also like to thank sponsors Manulife Financial, our award recipient video partner, and MBNA, our entertainment partner.
That's right. And tonight you will hear from the chair of the York University Alumni Board, Francesca Ancinelli, interim vice president of advancement, Louise Spencer, and chancellor Gregory Sorbara. And you'll also enjoy a live performance by one of my favorites, singer-songwriter Sarah Slean. I'm excited for that, along with other appearances from York alumni and students that are here with us tonight. Now, tonight's events will feature entertainment and interactive elements. So to the right of the main stage window, you can use the chat feature to send us a message to other guests. Let us know where you're coming in from. And let's try that now. Everyone type in where you're at, how you're feeling. Let us know who out of Bo and I will get the first alumni award one day down the road. Maybe you, Bo.
No, I think it's going to be
It could be you, Bo. I don't know. Let us know what you think, everyone. And from the lobby, you can also access a really fun photo booth. So get out there. Don't forget to share your photos on social media, because if you didn't, then it never happened. You have to put it out there on Instagram and Facebook, or who knows what's going on in your life. Tag us at York U Alumni in your posts so that we could share them and spread them around to the different channels. And of course, use our hashtag York U Alumni on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, stick around for the networking lounge, which will open immediately after the show, where you can meet and mingle with other attendees. That's going to be fun.
Yes, it will be. And that's not all. There will also be a series of polls we invite you to participate in throughout the night. Let's start with our first poll of the evening. The poll window should pop up on the right next to the chat. Is everybody ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I think the poll should be up, and on your screen you should see the following question. What was your favorite experience while on York campuses? A, my classes, B, the people, or C, the wildlife? What do you think yours is going to be?
Well, it depends if wildlife means an evening at the underground or the raccoons on top of the garbage outside of York Lanes. I'm going to say the wildlife. Yeah.
I feel like that's a great answer, and I sort of have to agree. Being on the Glendon campus, you would often see deer.
Okay.
And it was always so adorable.
It's open for interpretation.
Yes,
we
indeed.
both picked wildlife. I'm curious to see what the fine people are, which one is going to come out ahead. Interesting.
Interesting, yes.
But the people also, look, the people. I still keep in touch with old professors and classmates, more so classmates, but you know, that's important.
Interesting. You didn't have a great relationship with all your professors?
Well, we had some misunderstandings along the way. There was a few misunderstandings that I hope with the benefit of time,
yes,
I think we would get along just fine these days.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, so it seems that the answer that was picked the most was the people. So I guess folks do agree with us.
Makes sense.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Before we welcome our next guest, Shahir, I know you recently went to York's Q campus after 15 years.
I did.
What was that like?
Well, it was an experience. Let's take a look. You'll see.
Hey, I'm Shahir Massoud, class of 06, and I'm so excited to be hosting the York U Alumni Awards this year. Now, I know a lot of you probably haven't been on campus in a while, but don't worry. I know this campus like the back of my hand. Come on for a tour. Sulik, what? Sulik, guys, what do we do? Yip, 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 woo! Keep it professional. Good. That's good. No, that's good. So hold on, this thing is here. I think I have to go. Where am I going? Second Student Center? What? Engineering. Ah! Calumet, my old home. Finally something that hasn't changed. Hey, let's celebrate with a beer downstairs. Come on. Where's the bar? This is incredible. Brand new stadium. Wow! Go Yeomen!
Dude, it's the Lions.
Lions. I like that. I'm starved. Maybe a quick bite at Blueberry Hill or Falafel Hut. Peterland? Oh.
What's wrong, Shahir?
Oh, hey, Bo. It's just that I feel so old. The whole place has changed.
Don't worry about it. It's still the same York University family, committed to positive change and building a better future.
Oh.
We have the new Markham campus launching in 2023, and the Glendon campus, the founding campus, the one I went to.
Huh. You know, that actually makes me feel better. Thanks, Bo. I'm ready to get out of here. I'm gonna catch the 196 bus.
Or take the subway.
Bo, you don't know the pain of the 196 bus. You don't understand the pain of that reference. Amazing to be back.
I'm so glad I do not.
It was great to be back.
Yes, it was. Yes,
Lots of changes, but still kind of the same. You're right.
Yes. As I said in the video, the campus may evolve, but we are still all a part of the same York U family. Stay tuned for my tour of Glendon later in the show. Speaking of York U family, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce a very renowned Glendon alumna. Hoodo Hersi graduated from Glendon College with a bachelor's degree in political science in 2014 and received her bachelor's degree in education in 2015. She's a Toronto-based comedian recently selected as a new face, Canada at the Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal, where her performance aired on the Comedy Network. Hoodo has performed in clubs and festivals all over Canada and the US, including the Winnipeg Comedy Festival and the BBC World Service Montreal Comedy Show. In 2018, she was selected as an audible new voice at San Francisco Sketchfest. She also had the distinct honors of hosting the TEDx Toronto conference and was featured in Sephora's national Get Lippy Lipstick campaign in partnership with Fashion Magazine, where she was profiled as one of 3 female comedians taking Canada by storm right now. Check this out.
So no segues, next joke. I feel like we need to make racism more equal. Hear me out, bit of a strong stance, but there's all this talk in America about this Muslim ban, and I feel like, listen, If we're gonna ban Muslims from America, fine, okay? Let's just do the same for white guys going solo to Thailand. Let's just spread that hatred even, you know?
I can't disagree. I can't disagree with it.
Thank you so much. Welcome back to York for the Alumni Awards, Hoodo.
Oh my God, guys, live from the glamour of my bedroom. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. This feels great. This feels great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. Hoodo, I do have a question for you. I was wondering, where do you get inspiration for your comedy?
Okay, so this is like number one, my mom. She hates that I do comedy. Obviously, typical immigrant mother thing. It's, oh, what are you doing for a living? You're just going to stand on stage and tell funny stories and jokes. Like, it doesn't resonate with her at all. But she's an incredibly funny person, and whatever humor I have, I definitely got from her. And then obviously, I think just being first generation Canadian, just the fact that I was born and raised in Canada, but then, I have my parents that are from Somalia, they're immigrants. So just this idea of just being caught in between both worlds is definitely like a huge inspiration for my comedy. And then obviously, what comes to mind are like the comedians that I love, Chappelle, Chris Rock, Joan Rivers, Wanda Sykes. For sure. Yeah. Those are definitely like my top inspirations when it comes to comedy, for sure.
Joan Rivers. I like that. Who are you wearing? Do you remember Joan Rivers?
Yes, I do. Do you? Yes, I do.
And she's great because she was relevant well into her 80s. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And she always looked glamorous on stage, and she had an insane work ethic. R.I.P. She's amazing.
You're absolutely right. Now, Hoodo, you actually made a good point about your mom, and I totally understand what you're saying. A life in entertainment, especially comedy, can't be easy. What advice would you give to someone out there who is thinking about pursuing a career?
You know what? If you can afford it, get a really good day job and go to therapy. You're going to need it. This is really applicable advice for anyone. You know what I mean? In any field. Just something though specific to just comedy, I think. Just be kind. This seems like an obvious one, but not a lot of people do it. Be kind. Try not to gossip too much. And I remember Jerry Seinfeld saying this, and I thought it was amazing. He's like, comedy's, I'm paraphrasing, but the quote is, comedy's fun, but don't forget that comedy is still a job. Do you know what I mean? So record your sets, really put all the work in. This is not my problem because I'm Muslim. I don't drink. I don't, do any drugs, but I've seen a lot of comedians sort of get drunk or high and then go on stage, and then it's never a good look. So just based on what I've seen, having spent 10 years doing comedy, don't do that. It doesn't end well. And I also think, because, capitalism, you should just have a really good day job so that you can actually really focus on getting good at comedy. Don't try to like rush the process and get an agent or a manager and move out to Los Angeles right away. It took me 10 years and I finally was able to leave my day job, and now I'm actually doing comedy full time, So be patient. Yeah.
Did you get that, Bo? Don't drink before work. That was the message. No drinking before work. That's great. Remember that.
No, that is definitely a very important thought to have.
Yes.
Hoodo, I was wondering, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with your community?
Oh my God, I miss Glendon. Like, the campus is so beautiful. I miss it so much. I had the best times there. I mean, it was stressful at times. I'm not gonna act like it was all rainbows and, pots of gold or whatever, but it really was such a formative time in my life. You know what I mean? It was only when I turned 20 that I really started to take comedy seriously. So I remember just doing shows on York's campus. And anyways, I just have such fond memories. And I feel so lucky to be a part of this event, really and truly. And I wish we were actually all in person. You know what I mean? And you guys weren't just seeing the inside of my bedroom, yeah, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for having me. And I have to do this because it's showbiz. Follow me on Instagram. Got to do the fingers too, the cheesy fingers, at Hoodo Comedy.
Hoodo, I definitely relate with Miss in the Glendon campus. Yeah. And it's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you tonight. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
She rocks.
She did.
She rocks. Thank you, Hoodo. Okay, guys, it's that time. It's time to present our first award of the evening. This is it. This is exciting. Our first award goes to a dedicated champion known for her groundbreaking work in community engagement. Since graduating from York in 2005 with a Bachelor of Fine Arts, she's directed plays that have gone on to break box office records. They've toured nationally and internationally, and have been developed into television shows on CBC, Global, and Netflix.
The One to Watch award goes to an individual who has made a significant impact in her field and community in the early years of her career. And this is reflected in the dedication and compassion of this distinguished alumna, Weyni Mengesha.
As a daughter of Ethiopian immigrants, I kind of imagined myself going into a different kind of profession. I wanted a vehicle to talk about things that were important. I came to theater really through social activism. And so I went and applied to York. It was a really hard thing to find a Black Canadian female monologue. So that became something I was really passionate about. And I was encouraged at York to write something. And this had an incredible impact on my whole life because I was empowered to really chase my curiosity, to find my own voice, to be somebody who could be a change maker, and to think outside of the lines. I met my mentor, Janet Sears, who then gave me my very first professional assistant directing job. And I think theater, we find the poetry in our everyday life. I want to ensure that I can help to empower people to write their stories and that we still have so many stories to share in this country.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our One to Watch award recipient, Weyni Mengesha.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. It's really great to be here. Thank you so much to the Bride and Award Committee and the organizers. And thank you to all of you out there for celebrating us, for being with us, and to help honor all of us tonight. We appreciate all you supporting us. I have to start by thanking feedback. I have to start by thanking the one who nominated me, which was the Dean of AMPT, Sarah Beijan. Thank you so much for continuing to champion alumni, for helping to support all the things that I'm doing at Soul Pepper Theater. It really means the world to me, and thank you for this nomination. I didn't grow up in theater. In fact, I had no family in the arts at all. The first play I saw in Toronto did not happen until my first year at York University. And it really came out of what I talked about in that video, that I didn't find a Black Canadian female monologue. And in that learning environment at York, it was really crucial for me to do more research. And I'm really grateful to all of the teachers who supported me in the kind of research that has really propelled my career to this point. I want to thank Peter McKinnon, who supported me in doing my independent research, where I actually went across the country and interviewed people looking at Black Canadian and theater aesthetics. I want to thank Don Rubin, who supported me in researching African theater and the traditions that have come across the Black diaspora around the world. I want to thank Ron Singer, who taught me directing and tools that I still use to this day. Mark Wilson, who taught me how to devise and create new work, which we're doing at Soul Pepper all the time. And to Rachel Katz, who was a program assistant and just had that open door always for me to be there. And so I'm really grateful for this award and for this honor. It means a lot. It's where York University is where I met my mentor, who came and did a guest lecture, Janet Sears. I've met so many of my collaborators at York University. And I am now so excited to meet the generations that are coming out of York University, auditioning at Soul Pepper and coming as audiences. And to all of you theater graduates, just carve your own path, even if you don't see it there. And I can't wait to collaborate with you. And I just want to thank everybody for this night. It's a beautiful honor, and to the Bride and Award Committee and to all of you for being here. So thank you for this award.
Congratulations, Vani. Thank you so much for those kind words. And we're all so proud of you here at the York family.
Indeed. Yes, definitely. Congratulations, Weyni. We are now going to move on to our second poll question for our audience.
Okay.
And again, you should be able to see this on your screen. And the question is as follows. What were/are your favorite places to study on campus? A library on campus, at a coffee shop, at home, or what studying?
Well, you know, Bo, you seem like the kind of natural, brilliant person who wouldn't have to study as much as the average human being. Just say it now if that's true. Tell us.
I 100% wish. That would make grad school so much easier.
Now, the coffee shop studying is a big mistake because that's where you would go. You know, maybe you'd have a coffee, maybe you'd go down to the pub and say, okay, we're going to study, but we're going to relax while we do it. That never works. So I would be shocked if coffee shop wins this one. It's got to be library or at home. Has to be. Am I wrong?
No. I definitely don't disagree. I feel like folks sometimes only go to coffee shops for the aesthetics of it and to chat with friends. And you sit down, you put out your binder and your markers, and you don't actually get much work done.
And by the way, that's why I was amazed by the new buildings at York when I went back and visited. Because when I was there, half those buildings weren't there. So you had a few select spots to get some quiet study time. And that's why I couldn't do it. That's the reason, Bo.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
In my case, I think most of my studying was definitely done at a library on campus.
Yeah.
I was at the Glendon campus and we would go to the first library and it had this beautiful view of the Rose Garden.
Beautiful.
Which you really need to see in person. It's stunning in the summer. Glendon is just one of those magical places that's always beautiful regardless of the season. But in the summer and the spring, it's especially magical. And so you would like be studying some really difficult text and you'd look up and there'd be beautiful scenery, and maybe you'd see a deer running across campus.
Again, the wildlife. Now, that said, you did go there recently, right? You did take a tour of Glendon.
I did.
Can we take a look? Let's roll that clip.
Yes. This is the Center of Excellence, often the first point of contact for anyone who's new to Glendon, whether you are a prospective student, a first year, or you're here to just attend a conference. I remember coming here 4 years ago with my father while I was waiting to enroll in my courses. Over the next 4 years, it would also become a place where I would hang out with my friends to talk before or after classes or while we were just waiting to begin our commute. Like I was saying to Shahir, York University is a big family with many campuses. This bus shelter here at Glendon is where faculty, students, and staff sometimes wait for the shuttle bus to go to the Q campus. In addition to being York's founding campus, Glendon is also known for being small, warm, and close-knit. Here is Marion Hilliard Residence, one of Glendon's 2 residences, where I lived for the first 2 years of my university experience. It is also where I met many of my friends and was only 5 minutes away from any of my classes. Behind me is the Leslie First Library, where I, as a first-year student, would often come to do my readings. I loved it because I could always look up and see the Rose Garden, which offered a very beautiful view.
You're right. It is a beautiful campus.
Thank you for saying that.
Spend some more time at Glendon. Give Glendon a little more love. That was great.
Yes, it was. That was definitely so much fun. Now I'd like to welcome York University Alumni Board Chair, Francesca Accinelli, and York's Interim Vice President of Advancement, Louis Spencer, to introduce our next entertainment segment.
Thank you so much, Bo, and thank you all for joining us here today. The York U Alumni Awards were first established to honor alumnus Bruce Bryden, the founding president of the York University Alumni Association. They're really one of the university's premier accolades celebrating alumni who are they're truly remarkable. How inspirational was, Weyni, Louise?
Oh, amazing. And I can't wait to hear about the other recipients. Last year we had a chance to reflect on 20 years of Bryden Alumni Award recipients and celebrate all that they mean to our community, and tonight's recipients are no exception. Now in our 21st year, we set a bold new vision. In addition to the prestigious recognition of 4 outstanding alumni, we recognize the positive change cultivated by York students and alumni both locally and globally. You are a part of an alumni legacy paving the way for York's future. It's a future that my own kids, one a recent grad, 2021, and a current student, can be proud of. And one that I'm sure, Francesca, you look on with affinity as a Vanier College grad.
Louise, you're absolutely right on that one. And I'm so thrilled to have alumni from Vanier College Productions here with us tonight. They are a primarily student-operated extracurricular theater company located on York's Keele campus. They help students from across disciplines nurture their love for theater by participating in a whole season of performances. They also have a thriving alumni network. Started by Fred Turry and nurtured by my mom, Nancy, I am so proud to be a VCP alumna. It's our 50th, which is incredible. To my entire VCP family, my heart is full. Please enjoy this incredible performance.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts.
I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna stand the flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me, look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat of drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, because here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me.
Got us moving over here. We got a good dance going on. That was pretty good. Thank you guys to the alumni of Vanier College Productions. Thank you for that amazing piece. I liked it.
Indeed.
Yeah, we were moving back here. Okay, another award. Let's do it. Our next award of the evening goes to a leader and innovator in cancer research. One of her greatest achievements in the field of immunological science is her contribution to the establishment of an immunotherapy program at the Princess Margaret Centre here in Toronto. Now, this included leading clinical, academic, and industrial experts linking research in genomics and bioinformatics with basic and translational science and clinical trials of novel anti-cancer immunotherapeutics. Now, as a trained chef, those were a lot of hard words to pronounce, but it sounds very impressive.
I think you did a great job.
Thank you, Bo.
The Tantanda Villa Award honors an alumna who has demonstrated innovative, unconventional, and daring leadership and success, reflecting the university's motto, "The way must be tried." Tonight's Tantanda Villa Award is fitting recognition for this passionate and inspiring alumna, Dr. Pamela Ohashi.
I think one of the most valuable experiences that I had at York University was the ability to really engage the professors. The class sizes were a little bit smaller than other larger universities, and this really provided the opportunity for professors to get to know me. I spent one summer with Dr. Jim Friesen learning recombinant DNA technology, another summer with Dr. Ron Perlman, and that really launched my career in science. My grandmother had cancer. At that time, it was really amazing to me that there was really no treatment options for her. That, of course, was one important component of me thinking about, can I do something about cancer? Immunotherapy was really not something that a lot of people believed in. I really felt this was the way that must be tried, and I followed that for my career for at least 20 years to bring it to where it is today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to welcome our Tantanda Villa Award recipient, Dr. Pamela Ohashi. Doctor?
Good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here and a tremendous honor for me to accept this award. As we mentioned in the video, this award really has a special meaning to me, Tantanda Villa, the way that must be tried, because it really resonates with my career path. And I'd like to share a few key things that happened on my journey to bring me to where I stand today. The story of my career path actually starts with my mom. Somebody already mentioned their mom earlier in today's show. I think they're really critical. And my mom always used to say, be a somebody. And you know, if you think about this, I was a teenager and I'm thinking, well, you know, what exactly does she mean, be a somebody? You know, I thought it was a strange statement, and I don't even know who anybody would be. How do you define a somebody, for example? But now that I'm older, I really see the bigger picture. And I think back, my parents were part of the second generation Japanese who lived on the coast of BC. And if many of you know the history, they were actually interned in the war. So they were taken out of their homes and moved to interior BC. And my parents were kids at the time, and they thought, oh, this is a lot of fun. I have a lot of new friends, and we can do a lot of things together. But the impact on their life was really devastating, and their careers as well. Because if you think about it, you know, you get sent off into interior BC. There was no schools in these camps. And the parents really had to make do and figure out, how are we going to educate our kids so that they can, live a fuller life down the road. And so it turns out that the schools were really one room. Grades 1 to 8 were in the same room. The parents had to figure out what they were going to teach them. And in fact, because they were just almost essentially in the middle of nowhere, in many cases, they were just in the old coal mines and gold mines. They were in these rooms that were very, very cold. They had to wear their the winter jackets and hats and things like that. And basically, these rooms were heated by a fire in an oil drum can. So if you can imagine the environment and the kinds of things they were learning and exposed to, the idea about a career, a proper education, was really not possible in their generation. And so when my mom always wanted me to take any opportunities that arose and be a somebody, that was really the message that I took in the back of my head. Take any opportunity to become somebody. And that somehow now made sense. So I'd like to share a few things that happened to, again, bring me to where I am today. So, of course, basically, most kids teenagers don't really listen to their moms, but you know, it's sitting in the back of my head, and I'm wondering what exactly does she mean by all of this. But as luck would have it, I was very fortunate, and I had a really key opportunity at York University. And so in my first year, I was taking one of the required courses, and this was one taught by Jim Friesen. He was lecturing on genetic engineering and biology, molecular biology, and I actually really enjoyed this course. So I did very well on one of the tests, and very surprisingly to me, Dr. Friesen came to me after one of the tests and said, you know, how would you like to work in my lab? And I thought, you know, what a wonderful opportunity, all arising from actually just doing well on an exam. And so that was the beginning of me working in the labs. I then went on, as I mentioned, to work with John Heddle, Ron Perlman, and I did my 4th year project with him. And we also had an adventure to Yale as a summer student, which I enjoyed very much and met very interesting people in that adventure. But after I graduated from York, I also worked in many labs to learn different systems in biology and really understand a lot of different areas and try and decide where I wanted to settle myself. And so I was working in as a technician in industry, and I got a phone call from TACMAC, who our paths had crossed earlier. And he had heard that I was not very happy in the position I was at in this industry. And he asked me actually to join his lab. He said, you know, whatever it is you want to do, come and do it in my lab. I've just cloned the T-cell receptor. And it turns out this was a major breakthrough in the field of immunology. But at the time, I had no idea what a T-cell receptor was, but turned out to be a great decision. So after I did my postdoc training in a lab in Switzerland in 1991, and we actually published key findings that made me realize immunotherapy really has a chance to work in cancer patients. This lab was run by two professors. One is Rolf Zinkernagel, who went on to receive the Nobel Prize after I left the lab. But in 1992, I was recruited back to Toronto by TACMAC, and he had this nice opportunity again. He said, you know, I have this opportunity. We're going to start a new institute. So what is it that you would like to do if we could give you extra funding? And this was in 2004, and I said, immunotherapy. I think this would be the way to go for the future. And so this was really one of the key events that really took me on this path to thinking about immunotherapy in 2005. And so 5 years later, in 2010, it turns out it was really a breakthrough in cancer treatment. That is the use of immunotherapy and the idea that you can use the immune system to fight cancer. And so this was really exciting for me, and we really began to build many things that were already described in the introductions. So I would like to close again by thanking my mentors from York University, Jim Friesen, Dr. Heddle, Ron Perlman, who launched my career path in biology. I would also like to mention TACMAC. You know, after he cloned the T-cell receptor and invited me to his lab, this was really the beginning of my journey in immunology. And most importantly, his support in letting me do what I think was important. And I'd like to thank my family, Amy, Kevin, Kara, and Bruce, for their support and understanding whenever I was preoccupied by work. And close by thanking York University, the awards committee, and support letters for this prestigious and gratifying honor. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Ohashi, and thank you for sharing that inspirational journey. What a great story. Congratulations. And guys, don't forget to engage in the chat. Offer your congratulations. Tell us where you're from. Use those hashtags. They'll really be much appreciated. So get into the chat. Now, guys, as we continue, I'd like to welcome back York's President and Vice Chancellor, Rhonda Linton. Hello, President Linton.
Hello, how are you?
We're having fun so far. This is great.
I'm really enjoying. Sorry, go ahead, Bo.
No, I was saying it's a wonderful evening for the whole community, and we're so glad to bring everyone together, even if virtually. So so far, so good, right, Bo?
Yeah. It's been great. I've really been enjoying it. I am looking forward to in person again, but I'm really enjoying this evening.
Yes, I would have to agree. As great as this virtual celebration is, I'm really looking forward to a time when we can all gather in person again.
Sooner rather than later, for sure, Bo. But in the meantime, we're looking forward to having the opportunity to ask a few questions to Dr. Linton and to learn a little more about the exciting things going on at York and what's happening in the future. So first question, let me ask you this, Doctor. 20 months ago, higher education arguably saw one of the most immediate and seismic shifts in teaching and learning history. What lessons has York learned from this? And how has the university adapted to the shift?
You know, I want to say that before the pandemic, the digital transformation that was impacting many sectors, but certainly higher education, in many ways, it was in its infancy, certainly in the classroom, how universities were organized. And yet, people will remember that essentially over a weekend almost, the entire university moved to remote. And in the past 18, 19, 20 months since then, we have been learning so much as the organization of work at the university has been evolving, how remote teaching, sort of emergency remote teaching, is evolving now into this thoughtful online pedagogy. What are the implications as we move forward? And at the same time, we know that the labor market is being profoundly impacted, and it continues to be so, not only by the pandemic, but by technology, automation. I think I've stated before that 50% of all jobs are going to be disrupted by automation. 2/3 of all jobs require higher education. A number of jobs will be eliminated altogether. The pandemic is accelerating a great deal of this. So York was already responding to a number of these changes. I could refer to the Markham campus as an example. I mean, we were really designing that Markham campus to be responsive to how the labor market was changing. And we're using it as a bit of an incubator for innovation and thinking about how is the pandemic influencing, you know, the way in which we approach the delivery, our pedagogy, the actual programs that are there. You know, very strong focus on in programs there on engineering, technology, entrepreneurship, management, new media, communications. Very strong focus on hands-on skills. There'll be a strong digital component there. But I want to say that in general, I've been so impressed with the way in which our community, our faculty, course directors, our staff, our students, how we have mobilized to really start thinking about how do you use augmented reality, virtual reality? How do you provide internationalization online? Some of the innovation that we've seen emerge is incredibly impressive, and it really plays to the fact that students learn differently. They have different strengths. So even post-pandemic, what we want to look at now is, even as in-person classes start to increase as they're going to this winter, how do we retain all of that innovation? How do we combine the in-person with all of that pedagogical innovation and make sure that we continue to really be at the forefront of 21st century learning, which is one of our major commitments and our priorities in our university academic plan?
Thank you so much for that extremely detailed answer, President Linton. It's always great to hear about the new things going on at the university. I have a further question. The past year and a half has been an incredibly challenging time for everyone, and the COVID-19 pandemic has certainly heightened many of the complex challenges we were already facing, from climate change to systemic racism, inequality, and global health issues. How is York addressing these issues and their broader impact on society?
Well, thank you, Bo. You know, in many ways, I think a lot of our researchers have pointed out that the COVID-19 pandemic in and of itself is a manifestation of some of the existing socioeconomic and environmental issues that they have been highlighting and talking about for many years. And it has certainly served to underscore the urgent need that's there to strengthen our response to these threats, global threats like the ones you just mentioned. And York is perfectly positioned to be a leader in this response. We not only have a demonstrated history of facilitating multi-sector interdisciplinary collaboration, but we really possess significant expertise in the fields of climate change, the environment, inequality, disaster and emergency management, health and health governance, AI in society, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And we've really been continuing to build on these strengths throughout the pandemic, just even in terms of our own response to the pandemic and the kind of research that was undertaken. We've also been steadily expanding our leadership in health, education, and research, really going back to 2007 or before. And in the past year alone, we've signed important partnerships with both Mackenzie Health and Oak Valley Health. We know we need to work together collaboratively across sectors to really be taking on some of these issues, which no sector in and of itself can really take on well. And this is going to, these MOUs are going to allow us to explore and strengthen what areas we can for engagement, cooperation, educational partnerships, professional development, community development, and health research and innovation. And these partnerships are also laying the foundation for the development of a healthcare precinct that we've been working on in the city of Vaughan, and importantly, for the development of a new proposal for a school of medicine that we've been working on. And I want to emphasize that that proposal and this work really reflects, York's overall approach around health and healthcare, which is interdisciplinary, but is about keeping more people healthier longer in their communities. A very distinct approach that looks at the social and economic determinants of health. It's a preventative model that aims to promote care beyond the walls of hospital facilities. And on a broader scale, we launched our new CFEL Center, CFEL York, which is a UN training center that brings together global leaders from government, not-for-profits, industry, with our researchers and educators to take on and to address the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And this is really a point I want to emphasize about our whole university academic plan. It embeds in it a challenge for us to strengthen our impact on those sustainable development goals to create resilient, sustainable, inclusive communities. I could give you more examples, but I'll pause there.
It's an hour and a half, Doctor, but it was, but thank you. Very insightful though, and it's really, really important work. And I want to thank you. But also one more question before I let you go. I wonder what you personally are looking forward to most for York University in the short and long term.
I'm so excited about this university, and I always have been. It's an honor, really, to be the president of this university. I guess in the short term, I'm very much looking forward to a more fulsome return to on-campus activities this winter. I've been coming to the campus. It's really a beautiful campus. So much excitement around some new infrastructure. It looks beautiful, both the Keele campus and the Glendon campus. And what's missing are the people. And we've got up to about 35% for fall, but I'll be very excited about getting to 85% of classes being planned for in-person, because it creates the vibrancy of the whole community. Now, of course, we understand that there are students who will still need or desire online courses, and many of our instructors, as I've said, have really invested in this innovation in online features. So, we'll look carefully and make sure that we're always offering a certain percentage of online courses. But overall, I'm really looking forward to seeing that student learning experience look much closer to what was possible prior to the onset of the pandemic. And in the long term, I'm just really looking forward to seeing York continue to realize that vision that we have. Our vision is about maximizing access for a broad demographic of students to a high quality, research intensive university that's committed to driving positive change. And there's been so many initiatives that we have launched along that line over the last while, including a new equity, diversity, and inclusion strategy, which will build on our Indigenous strategy and our anti-Black racism framework and action plan, and fulfill that commitment that York has in our mission statement around social justice, and ensuring that York is a diverse, inclusive, and equitable place for all. We've got a brand new Joan and Martin Goldfarb gallery that's going up that was made possible through a $5 million gift from them. Not to mention, some of the art that they're sharing with us. This is a real celebration in the common area, but it recognizes the importance of art for our teaching and learning, for creative activities, for research, but also how we can bring the community in, leveraging those subways post-pandemic for creating this vibrant campus and sharing the aesthetic of the art gallery. Our vision for the future of Kiel and Glendon as we move forward to really strengthen sustainability, resilience. We're working on a new campus vision and strategy for the Kiel campus. We're positioning Glendon for thinking about how we're going to continue to serve the needs of the Francophone and Francophonie. Look, I could go on for hours about all the exciting things that are happening at York, but I know that we've got a packed program this evening. So I'm just going to finish by encouraging everyone here tonight to please stay in touch with us, to receive all of the latest news, updates, and to remain engaged in the York community. So many of you are so important to our current students. You help through your mentorship, your involvement, and we want to, continue to engage you at the university. So thank you very much.
Lots of exciting stuff on the horizon. Thank you, President Linton. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yes, indeed. Just a heads up for our viewers. Stay tuned towards the end of the show when singer-songwriter Sarah Slean will be here for a live performance and interview. We also have the Networking Lounge, which you will be able to join for a special networking session.
I'm excited about that. I'm looking forward to that. But before that, how about our third award of the evening? Bo, what do you think? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay, our next award of the evening goes to an individual passionate about the arts. Named a member of the Order of Canada in 2017, he's collaborated with many leading companies, including the National Ballet of Canada and Les Grands Ballets Canadiens, as well as artists Kim Juja, Jordan Tannehill, the Hidden Cameras, and Cirque du Soleil, and is also an associate dance artist at the National Arts Centre. His works have been performed in 19 countries worldwide, and in 2018, his retrospective program House Mix toured 15 cities in Canada and 2 in Colombia.
The Outstanding Achievement Award honors an alumnus who has achieved distinction in their field and whose integrity and ability inspire alumni, faculty, staff, and students. This award reflects the significant and meaningful accomplishments of this very special alumnus, Christopher House.
I signed up for a theater course and there was a movement component, and probably 20 minutes into the class, it was clear to me that I discovered something really important. I came to York as an adult, and York just had this wealth of resources that I could use to really explore this path. The thing I hadn't anticipated was that I almost immediately began to choreograph. And I think it's fair to say that I became a choreographer while a student at York, and there's no guarantee that would have happened otherwise. The desire to explore, and certainly the pleasure in moving, is very much still part of who I am, and I think a lot of that was stimulated through the experiences that I had when I was a student at York for those 2 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Outstanding Achievement Award recipient, Christopher House.
Thank you. Thank you very much. York University's had a major impact on my life as an artist, so I feel deeply honored to be receiving this award, and I would like to thank my dear friend Karen Kane for her kind nomination. I'm speaking to you from my hometown of St. John's, Newfoundland, where I'm currently working on a project with an amazing theater company called Artistic Fraud. As a young man growing up in St. John's, I would never imagine that my life would lead me back here in this capacity, but sometimes life can take a radical turn, and I know this because it happened to me. As I mentioned in the video, I was in my final year as a political science student at Ottawa U. And because I'd been so inspired by a performance that I had seen, I signed up for a theater course where I encountered the legendary movement teacher, Elizabeth Langley. About 20 minutes into the very first class, I experienced what could only be described as an epiphany. In this instant, I knew without a doubt that I had found a new way of being in the world that would complete me as a person. I mean, it was such a gift, bringing my body, my mind, and my spirit into this thrilling new balance. And so as an adult with absolutely no training or experience, I abandoned the academic world and dove headfirst into dance. After a year of intense study and research that included 7 months in New York City, I returned to Canada. I was passing through Toronto at the beginning of the new academic year, and I visited the York campus, where I had the great good fortune of being able to meet with the founder and chair of the dance department, Grant Stratty. The very next Monday, I was in his ballet class at 8:30 in the morning as a registered student to do a second degree in fine arts. My 2 years at York were a whirlwind of challenges, opportunities, and discoveries. The inspiring teachers, who had all been working professionals, treated me with kindness and encouragement while providing excellent and very honest feedback. I was able to study dance history and criticism, anatomy and composition, to explore the art gallery, the library, and to luxuriate in the space of those huge dance studios, all at the same time as getting excellent conservatory level training. Grant Stratty became a mentor and, I guess, a sparring partner. He created wonderful choreography for me to dance, and when he produced Canada's first national choreographic seminar in 1978 that was held at York, I had the opportunity to participate as a dancer and to create my first short dance. Grant was very much ahead of his time, believing strongly in the idea of a thinking, educated dancer. His approach encouraged me to combine my curiosity about the moving body with my passion for ideas and conceptual frameworks. By the time I graduated from York, I had created 5 works that had been performed downtown, and 18 months later, I was named resident choreographer of Toronto Dance Theatre. More than 40 years have passed, and I'm privileged to still be collaborating on new projects across disciplines and learning new skills as an artist. And so I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to have studied at York and for all that I experienced there. And I thank you again for this lovely honor.
Thank you, Christopher, and thank you for sharing your story. It's amazing how those little twists of fate could change a whole life. It's just incredible to listen to. Thank you and congratulations. It's time for our final award of the evening. This is it. Our 4th and final award is for the Outstanding Contribution Award, which honors an alumnus which has made a significant contribution to the advancement of York and its students through exceptional service, commitment, and philanthropy. Dr. Earle Nestmann is known for his leadership, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. He's published more than 100 articles in scientific literature and was co-editor of the proceedings of an international conference on chemical mutagenesis and of a laboratory manual of recombinant DNA technology. He served on several editorial boards for scientific journals and was president of the Genetic Society of Canada. Together with his wife, he's provided exemplary philanthropic support for York science students and faculty for over 15 years, including establishing the Dean's Undergraduate Research Awards and Science Exploration Camps for elementary and secondary school-aged children. The Earle Nestmann Scholarship was established in 2008 for master's or doctoral students studying molecular biology or genetics. The Outstanding Contribution Award most certainly reflects the spirit, dedication, and commitment of renowned alumnus, Dr. Earle Nestmann.
I arrived in Canada in 1968, and I came to York University. And once I finished my master's degree in 1971, I moved on into a PhD program. I extended my York experience as a professor. After those 3 years, I moved on to Ottawa and the rest of my career. The second phase of my York experience started. I got involved with the Alumni Board of Directors. And because I had some means to help, I got involved with the science camps that were run in the summertime for neighbors in the Jane Street corridor. My philosophy is if you help a student in an academic program, help them to graduate, and they move on, graduate from York, contribute to York, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Outstanding Contribution Award recipient, Dr. Earle Nestmann.
Thank you very much. I'm humbled and honored, and as Francesca can confirm, when she called with the news of this award, completely surprised and delighted by this recognition. Thank you. As you've just heard, I arrived at York in 1968. I was taking courses and working as a lab demonstrator when Dr. Ruth Frances Hill, recruited from Columbia University, arrived in January 1969. I was the lab assistant for her microbiology course, and before long, Dr. Hill asked me to be her first grad student at York. The most painful part of the master's degree experience was writing my thesis. I remember Dr. Hill saying, "There's no such thing as good writing, only good rewriting." Wow, I did a lot of rewriting. But I got through it in 1971 and then finished my PhD in 1974. I continued as a research scientist, first in the lab, and later as a scientific consultant in genetic toxicology and human health risk assessment. Consulting is an exciting challenge because, as I used to say, clients don't come to us because we know the answer. It's because we know how to figure out the answer. Some examples: 1, prevention of needless destruction of suspect Canadian grains. 2, with the shortage of hand sanitizer early in the COVID pandemic, non-medical grade alcohol was found to be safe for emergency use. Such projects and many others make interesting and exciting stories, at least interesting to me. Coming back to York as an alumnus was facilitated by Joel Porter and Nagid Gouda from the Advancement on Alumni Offices in concert with the Dean of Science and Engineering, Dr. Jillian Wu, and I thank them for bringing me back to the York community. Before long, I became involved with the YUAA Board of Directors and subsequently the University Board of Governors. I had the privilege to work alongside many dedicated volunteers, too numerous to mention, but I do want to acknowledge Guy Burry, Paul Saparis, and Randy Williamson. Serving on these boards and providing support for students have been important ways for me to give back to the university. As described earlier, my wife Berna and I know firsthand how life-changing scholarships can be. Before I close, I want to share an amazing story about my supervisor, Dr. Hill. Everyone these days knows about DNA, first described in 1953. The question was what happens when DNA is damaged. In 1957, Dr. Hill came up with the beginning of the answer by discovering a strain of bacteria that was unable to fix damage to DNA, and a whole new field of DNA repair was born. Remarkably, at the same time in 1957, her husband, Dr. Gordon Gould, a physicist also at Columbia University, invented the laser and gave it its name. Talk about a power couple. While Dr. Hill's seminal discovery was recognized immediately and published the next year, Dr. Gould was dragged through court battles over laser patents for decades. Dr. Hill testified regularly in support of her husband's legal claims, but tragically she passed away suddenly in 1973, never aware that Dr. Gould ultimately won his patents for inventing the laser. At this time, I want to acknowledge her mentorship and dedicate this award to Dr. Hill's memory. In closing, I thank you all for the opportunities to contribute to York University, and thank you again for this honor.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Nestmann. Congratulations to all our award recipients. We are truly inspired by all that you have accomplished. I'm thrilled to introduce our next guest and performer. Signed to Atlantic Warner Records at just 19 years old, four-time Juno nominee, modern-day Renaissance woman, and York U graduate student, Sarah Slean, has since released 11 albums in over 10 countries worldwide. But the most astonishing aspect of her artistry is its breadth. Over her 25-year career, Sarah has published poetry, starred in short films, and a movie musical, penned string quartets and other chamber works, held numerous exhibitions of her paintings, and performed with 12 of the country's professional orchestras.
Classically trained from the age of 5, my God, I have to start training my children. She routinely collaborates with cutting-edge contemporary classical ensembles and has been invited to sing world premieres by leading living composers. She creates orchestral arrangements for her own music and for her pop colleagues, and a recent recording with Symphony Nova Scotia was just nominated for the 2021 East Coast Music and Juno Awards in the Classical Album category. Sarah is also an alumna of the prestigious Canadian Film Centre's Screen Composing Residency and earned her first Canadian Screen Award in 2021. Everyone, welcome Sarah Slean. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey guys!
I'm excited. I'm a big fan. Bo, I first discovered you 15 years ago when Bo was in grade 3, I think.
Right?
So this is a thrill.
That's probably
Nice.
We're old.
It's so exciting to have you.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Now, Sarah, let me ask you, you're currently enrolled in the master's program with the School of Arts, Media, Performance, and Design. And I got to ask you right off the bat, why did you choose to enroll in the master's program at York University? And what has your experience been like?
I am a curious person. I'm a curious artist. I'm very restless. I've done all kinds of different things, and I'm always looking for new things to create and learn. And I thought, what better way to do that than to go back to this very creative, uniquely open university where I started my undergrad a million years ago. So I specifically wanted to study orchestration, and so that's why I enrolled, and here I am, and I'm loving it so far.
Sounds amazing, Sarah. I am wondering, what is one of the most memorable moments of your music career?
There have been a lot. I would have to say, let's see, probably singing a full program of the Joni Mitchell material from an album called Travelogue, which was orchestrated by the jazz great Vince Mendoza. I performed that with the Saskatoon Symphony Orchestra, so in Joni Mitchell's hometown a few years ago, and the music is just extraordinary. The arrangements were extraordinary, and she's my hero, so that was quite a moment.
That must have been surreal. Oh my gosh, in her hometown. Now, I got to ask you, Sarah, why do you think an education in the arts is important?
Well, so many reasons. But I would say probably the most important reason is we are all, as human beings, we're kind of locked into our own subjectivity. And art is the best way to truly connect with other people locked into their subjectivities, right? We become empaths through art. We understand another person's experience. We connect. And without that, I can't imagine a life without that, and a life without beauty. I mean, what would be worth living for other than connection and beauty?
Absolutely. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm thrilled that you're here and you're going to perform. This is the highlight for me. So without further ado, thank you for being here, and take it away.
Thank you.
The injured pilot performs inspection. She turns the dials and waits for perfection. The wind is howling all around her. She wants a moment she will never find. Don't wait for the perfect sky. The injured dancer can't find a rhythm. Something's broken, but it's you've closed your eyes. Don't wait, don't wait, fly. Don't wait for the perfect sky. The time is never right for a higher height. You may not reach it, oh, but you might, you might. Take that second guess, turn it into yes, even though it's never a perfect sky. The rider weeps for a faded glory. She is burdened by her story. So write a new one, let it begin with the injured warrior walking into fire. Don't wait, don't wait, fly. Don't wait for the perfect sky. The time is never right. Aim for the higher height. You may not reach it, oh, but you might, you might. Take that second guess, turn it into yes, even though it's never a perfect sky. 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 The time is never right. Aim for the higher height. You may not reach it, oh, but you might, you might. Take that second guess, turn it into yes, even though it's never a perfect sky. The time is never right for a higher height. You may not reach it, oh, but you might, you might. Take that second guess, turn it into yes, even though it's never a perfect sky. Never a perfect sky. Never a perfect sky. Never a perfect sky. It's never a perfect sky.
The one and only Sarah Slean. Thank you, Sarah. What a lovely performance. Imagine being her neighbor.
Indeed.
That would be fun. Through the
Yes.
walls, you just hear Sarah Slean singing beautifully every day. That was incredible. Thank you. Now, guys, as we approach the end of our evening, we do have one final special guest to join us. As some of you will know, York's Chancellor Gregory Sorbara is a proud double alumnus of York, first graduating from Glendon College with his Bachelor of Arts, and then completing his law degree at Osgoode Law School. Chancellor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. You've done a terrific job. An absolutely special evening. You know, these award ceremonies have touched me to the bottom of my heart. Let me explain why. The pandemic, COVID-19, has wreaked such wreckage all over the globe and at York University as well. One of the things that we lost was the ability to come together, break bread, and celebrate the achievements of 4 very special alumni. Done that every year, and it was always a highlight of the academic year for me as Chancellor. And tonight we've recaptured that, minus the dinner, in a terrific evening. I have been inspired by the award winners and by the performers. Hoodo, Hoodo really got to me right away when she talked about how she was absolutely enthralled at her first experience at Glendon campus. I remember that my experience 44 years ago was very much like hers. And The Vanier College production folks were absolutely spectacular. And Sarah, that was wonderful. That was inspiring. And I didn't know that you're back with us for an MA, but I look forward to you crossing the stage and receiving that degree when you complete the work. Now, guys, as Chancellor, I have a unique relationship with alumni. I am the first person to congratulate a graduate and invite that graduate to move from being a graduate to an alumnus of the university. And so I have a kind of a special bond with the 350,000 plus alumni of York all around the world. Together, they hold both the university's past and its future in their hands. The past, you can understand. The university for them was, their experience at York was transformational. It set the course for their lives. But why do alumni hold the university's future in their hands? Well, it's simple. As our graduates, as our alumni succeed in the world, all over the world, it strengthens the success of the university itself and its future. And often, like our award winner tonight, Earle, our alumni make great contributions to the university, but the achievements that they have individually strengthen us as a university. Tonight's 4 award winners are very, very special people. Weyni Mengesha, who is now a leader at the Soul Pepper Theatre Company, one of the great theatre companies in all of Canada, if not North America, got inspired to be in theatre when she came to York. York was transformational for her, and in very short order, she's achieved great success, and we are very proud of her and the work she does at Soul Pepper. And Pamela Ohashi, a leader in medical science, someone who is, as she expressed in her remarks, was inspired by her mother. That was, to me, that was very touching. But what she does at Mount Sinai and the work she does with cancer care is just truly transformational in healthcare right across Canada. And Christopher House, oh my goodness, he had no idea that his future was in dance and choreography until he was touched by something that happened at York and the career that he pursued. And now he is an Order of Canada recipient and award winner in choreography, known not only across Canada, but all over the world. And his experience at York, as he said, was an epiphany. And finally, Earle Nestmann, who among his great achievements has years of engagement with not just the York Board, but the Alumni Association, and his work bringing education to young people and inspiring young people to pursue their education. I know Earle and I know his work, and I'm glad that we have been able to provide him and the other 3 recipients tonight with some recognition from the Alumni Association. Guys, you have done a terrific job. It's been a terrific night. I turn it back to you. I want to once again congratulate the award winners, the performers, and all of those who have put together this virtual performance this evening and done it so very, very well. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chancellor, for those warm remarks. Well, folks, I can't believe that we're at the end of the show. It's been so much fun. Thank you all so much for spending the evening with us. But the night is not over. We have our networking lounge open to allow you to meet and mingle with fellow York students and alumni. From the lobby, click on the networking lounge banner to start mingling.
It has been fun, Bo, and on behalf of the York University and Alumni Awards, thank you for joining us tonight. We now leave you with a short video as we celebrate our York community and look forward to years to come. We'll see you in the networking lounge. Take care and be well.
Doing what moves you can move the world. York University students and alumni are creating positive change for our communities and the world around us. Amazing things happen when diverse communities come together and apply knowledge to make things right. Thank you for attending the York U Alumni Awards. The show is not over. We look forward to seeing you at our networking lounge through the main lobby.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts.
I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna stand the flood, I'm gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me, look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat of drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets hit my skin. Well, fire away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. We are bursting through a barricade and reaching for the spot. We are warriors, and that's what we become. Yeah, that's what we become. I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, I'm gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me, look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat of drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. This is me. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, because here I come.